Countdown, because we are live. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am your host, Willie Bragg. And while we're in the cusp of World War III with a possible nuclear annihilation, because we have two countries with nukes that wants to be stubborn with each other, and because there's conflict halfway around the world, that we should be focusing on what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and try to have this shit resolved peacefully. Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia is more concerned about transgender individuals. I'm going to play you a video on InfoWars. Yeah, Alex Jones. Yeah, his program was taken off YouTube and most of social media several years ago, back in 2018. I believe it was 2018. But you can actually find it on some of these off websites, InfoWars itself, and you can go on places like BitChute and places like that where you'll be able to find his garbage. For the record, I call it garbage, but I actually did oppose his channel being taken down. But I free speech guy that I am. Plus, I needed a good laugh. But this is no laughing matter, what I saw from Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going to play you the video, and I will comment shortly thereafter. Give me a moment. All right. And let me get started right now. Put it on a speed. Let's see. We'll put on 1.5. Okay, here we go.
You're with us right now, the MTG. And I got to tell you, I liked it. Kevin Nunes did a great job. Now he's left to run the social thing with Trump. I really like Jim Jordan. I really like Matt Gaetz. I really like so many great people. But I got to tell you, MTG, every time I see you on TV, there's no telling what you're going to be saying. It's always true. And you're so popular because people can see you're unscripted, but you're really smart, you're real. And that's scaring the power structure.
Well, thank you, Alex. I hope so, because I'm tired of the power structure. They've sold out our country and they're selling out our kids.
And that's where you wanted to go next. I happen to have a giant stack of news. So let me just read a few headlines because you can't make this up. This is from KTLA. Okay, that's one of the biggest stations in the country.
Good Lord, he's simping so hard for her. Alex Jones, I know you're ugly as shit, but you got a shitload of money. You could do better than that thing, honestly. Anyway.
Get ready for this. Outraged parents demand answers after non-binary male counselors were allowed to sleep in fifth grade girls' cabins at school-sponsored camp event. There's video of biological men sleeping with the fifth grade girls. It gets worse. Facebook LGBT activist caught in alleged child sexting operation flying to Indiana. Number 4 at Facebook to have sex with a 13-year-old. This one, trans swimmers face off in Ivy League. We told you this could all be men in women's sports. Trans swimmers face off in Ivy League meet, and the results upend transphobic arguments against their participation. Yahoo thinks it's great because both men competed against each other. What does that even mean? Transgender Ivy League swimmers face off. And it goes on from there. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't hate somebody. They want to be a woman. They think they are. But I love even how Fox News says 2 women competed. Like 2 women in a federal prison had a baby. Or 2 women in a state prison had a baby. No, a man saying they're a woman did it. This is incredible gaslighting going on. And MTG is here to give her take on this. So much to deal with there.
Oh, I think it's straight evil. First off, if I was a parent and my 5th grade daughter had to sleep and shower in some kind of cabin at some summer camp that I paid money to send my child to, and there was a man calling himself a woman sleeping in her cabin, showering with her, that guy he'd be in jail. He would be in jail. Well, first off, my husband would have beat him into the ground, and then he'd be in jail. But this is...
Okay, I just want to stop right there and pause it, because I want to talk about her obsession with evil. And the obsession with evil is this. You know what's evil? Basically coming up with conspiracy theories about Democrat pedophiles. That's evil. Jewish satellite in outer space shooting lasers down in California, forest causing forest fires. That's evil. Stalking victims of gun violence, telling them that she has a conceal and carry permit. That's evil. Following AOC around and urging for her to be arrested and put in jail for having political disagreements with her. That's evil. You know, the fact that she wants to kill her political opponents in a society that's supposed to be a representative democracy or a constitutional republic. And I have to use those two terms because people get so hung up over semantics, but basically a free society. She's opposed to the concept of a free society. She's authoritarian to the core, and she's a bigot, and she wants to go and vilify now her latest on the hate list, transgender individuals. And she wants to go and have her husband beat up transgender individuals. For what? Being transgender? Let me continue.
This is exactly how we need to stand up against this stuff. And then the men, this guy, Leah Thompson, I'm sorry, that's William, and he's not a she, he's a he. He should not be competing in women's swimming. Anytime he wins, he did not win. Whoever came in second place, the real girl in the race, she's the winner. He should be thrown out of swimming completely. All of the men, I do not care about. It shouldn't matter about what they do in their bedroom. If they want to wear a dress, fine. But what they're doing is...
I don't believe you. I believe if you had it your way, you will arrest somebody for even the thought crime of being a homosexual, a lesbian, a bisexual individual, a transgender person, or anybody on the spectrum of what is defined as queer. You would put them in prison. You want to bring back the way things were at one time, where being in the LGBTQ community or being LGBTQ as an individual sometimes was a matter of life or death. My God, somebody found out about it, somebody gets fired for their jobs, or family will shun them, or in some cases, people getting beaten, having the shit beaten out of them, or if not killed. Those are the days she wants to return back to. This is not hyperbole. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene wants. She wants to go back to the days where people like Jerry Falwell were taken seriously about how to deal with the LGBTQ community. She misses those days. Fuck you, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Is they are defeating women. It's about beating women down, and the left stands up for it. And this is where America needs to say enough. Most Americans agree that this is wrong, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know why Fox News or anyone else goes along with the whole pronouns, the he's and the she's and the she's and whatever.
Okay, Fox News going along with pronouns. My answer to that is, objectively, I still hate Fox News, but they're less shitty than they were back in the days of George W. Bush. She wants to go back to the days where Fox News basically focus on culture war first and nothing else. At least they stopped talking as much about that culture war shit than they used to. It used to be so annoying, talk radio, Fox News, 700 Club, always culture war. She wants to go back to that. She wants to go back to those days.
These are men. We need to call them what they are. They're men. That makes them a he, a him, and not play this pronoun game anymore.
And let's...
You don't know that. You're not a scientist. In fact, Marjorie, you're a dumbass.
Expand on that. Dave Chappelle is no conservative. He came out and said, listen, women need their own space, just like everybody else does. I have 3 daughters, but even if you don't have daughters, can you imagine what it's like to have full-grown men around the country showering with your daughters because they say they are biologically a woman? This isn't just other male students that claim they're female. This is adults. And this is causing people just to totally freak out. And like you said, they're stealing women's spaces. And children are being taught with drag queen story time that a big fat man in a clown outfit is a woman. I'm sorry. That's not a woman. That's a big fat man or a little boy dressed up like a girl. This is all very, very sexualization of children. In fact, I can't show this video in Austin. Part of what we have, they had men on stage with little kids giving them money who had no G-strings on, saying they were women with glitter on their genitals and hugging little kids. Naked men. This is 4 years ago in Austin. Naked men literally grabbing children.
I don't believe that, because that was the case. There would have been an arrest. You would have heard about it on the news and stopped trying to make people from the LGBTQ community a bunch of quote unquote perverted pedophiles. That is not the case. That's not true. Maybe individuals are, but there are heterosexual pedophiles. Pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. It's a mental condition. And if there's anybody who commits pedophilia, that should never be tolerated. Won't make any apologies about that. But don't lump it in as if pedophilia is naturally a part of the LGBTQ community. That is comparing apples and oranges. One does not correlate with the other.
No, how did we get here, Alex? I can't even understand that. That should never, ever happen, ever. This is so evil. Like, I can't even believe these videos. No, but here's what we have to do. We have to draw the line in the sand and say we are not willing to cross it. This is such perversion, but it's also grooming children. It's grooming them to believe things that are lies and that are completely wrong. No.
I tell you what's actually a bigger perversion. Anybody deciding to basically give birth over and over to children in a planet that's overpopulated. I'm more offended by that than anything else, because kids are not really being done any favors when they're being born to this world, especially since we're in the cusp of World War III. And this video was shot a few days ago, February 21st. Shouldn't she be more focused about Russia and Ukraine? Shouldn't she be focused about that? Well, I think the one thing she will like about Russia and Ukraine are both nations, their atrocious attitudes toward the LGBTQ community. She'll like a lot of Middle Eastern countries too. On that question.
No, children are not born a certain way thinking they're another gender. It's their parents that are training them that way. It's these mothers that think it's like a handbag. They need to have a boy, a girl, and a trans child, like as if there's...
You don't know that. Gender dysphoria is a thing. There are individuals that suffer from this. It's not easy for them to go through this growing up, and to go and vilify them for what's going on in their lives. They're not out there to try to infringe on anybody's rights. They just want to live their lives honestly as possible without being terrorized. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're entitled to hate whoever you want to hate. It's your loss. I'm not out there wanting to criminalize people's right to hate. They don't have a right to inflict harm. Oh, if you think that it's kind of weird or even kind of icky, that's your prerogative. But don't fuck with people's individual rights.
There's some kind of accessory.
Exactly. It's like Hollywood stars and all the things they've engaged in. Exactly. Look at this photo of the progressive leftist not wearing their mask, but showing how the kids all wear masks. It's literally a rite of passage that they have destroyed a child. They've enslaved them in their MK Ultra operation.
Oh, it's sick. And then, yeah, they don't have masks on and the kids have to be masked. And it's completely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Here's what we have to do. We have to speak out. I don't think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong that people are deprived of health care. I think that's a bigger issue. I think that the fact that people have lost their jobs because of COVID, that's a bigger issue. As far as putting the mask on the damn children, and we can have a debate about that all we want, but you know what? They're trying to put a stop to the spread of COVID.
It's wrong to stand up and say, we aren't going to tolerate this. Men, get out of our bathroom, get out of our sports. These are our private places.
And think about how it's done in the name of helping women.
Marjorie Taylor, why don't you get the hell out of Congress? Because you don't have a committee assignment. We know why. You don't serve a purpose. You're the kind of person that will cut people's welfare off, but you're the biggest welfare recipient, the most well-paid welfare recipient in the country. You got free health care as a member of Congress. You get paid just to be there and be obnoxious and to be a social media sensation. That is your only purpose. You are a waste of taxpayers' money. I resent the fact that my tax dollars pay for you to be in Congress.
Women. Oh.
I mean, I may not like some of the other members of Congress from both parties, because to quote Tim Black, both parties suck, Johnson. Both parties suck, Johnson. But the thing about it is, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you serve no fucking purpose. I mean, and I may not like Mitch McConnell, but the asshole got elected, and he didn't try to overthrow the fucking government. You know, what's his name? From New York, Chuck Schumer. He's also another asshole. Guess what? He won an election. He didn't try to overthrow the government. Nancy Pelosi is Speaker of the House. I don't like her. Guess what? She's got elected, and she didn't try to overthrow the government. Now, Liz Cheney tried destroying governments across the world, and she's a damn bitch for it, as well as her dad, and you know, and all her people in her political circle is a neocon. But guess what? With all of her drawbacks, she didn't sit there and try to overthrow the American government. I don't think that you should have your Twitter account taken away from you. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, not only should you not be in Congress, you should be in jail.
Oh, we're going to it's like that huge 300-pound dude going, it's ma'am, while he smashes the door because the guy's like, hey, dude, come on up. It's like a huge dude with big hair. Hey, bro, come on up. Oh, it's a ma'am. It's an excuse to mess with people. Weird psycho dudes.
Yeah, no, it's really disturbing. But here's what bothers me the most is so many good men are silent with it. They won't say anything, Alex, like they don't stand up and protect us. We want real men to stand up and say, we're not going to allow you in our daughters' bathrooms. We aren't going to allow you in our girls' cabins at camp. We aren't going to allow you to beat down our women and our daughters. But we need
like in the UFC or other, the UFC so much, but other MMA fighting, they let biological men literally kill women in some cases.
Yeah, that's what they would love to do. They would like it. It's like they want it to happen, and I can't comprehend it. I don't understand it.
I mean, look at this dude. He looks like Frankenstein. Oh, the top weightlifter is a man in the women's sports. The top bodybuilder in women's sports is a man. The top swimmers, the top three are all men.
Alex Jones, you're talking about somebody looking like Frankenstein. Why don't you take a look in the fucking mirror? You're not exactly beautiful yourself.
They're all men. They're men. And we sit here and let these leftist, weirdo, sicko groups send a man in to women's sports to unseat them. That is just sick.
It is sick, and then they praise them. And I'll tell you, I've been an athlete most of my life. I've competed. I've been in plenty of races. I've competed in CrossFit. My daughter's a D1 athlete in college.
It's funny that Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about being an athlete. She looks more like a man than Alex Jones in a lot of ways. And I don't, I mean, honestly, maybe that's why she hates transgender people. Is there something we don't know about Marjorie Taylor Greene?
This is such a joke. Actually watching this guy right here go out there and compete against women, beating women, and then look, yes, celebrating. Oh, wow. Wow. And then people allow that to happen. I mean,
it's a fat slob that beats up on girls.
Yeah, that's right.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, are there other things that could concern you more than what a biologically born male who's transitioning to a woman getting into sports? Is there anything else that could concern you? I could think of maybe 100 things that I give a fuck more about than that particular situation.
Fat slob that beats up on girls, and we sit there and tolerate it, and then we sit there and say, oh, we have to be nice, we don't want to hurt his feelings, and call him a woman and allow him to do that.
And look, he's got his ding-a-ling bouncing around his pants. I'm sorry, but he didn't have the nerve to cut it off.
Yeah, well, they can't. If they're going to go all the way, they should go all the way.
But I'm not attacking these people. I'm not even against him. He's obviously completely mentally ill. Because who's going to go out and compete?
I'm against him.
Honestly, I don't hate him personally. No.
Well, she's honest. She's against them because she's a fucking bigot.
No, I don't hate him personally.
I hate what he's doing.
Yes. I'm completely.
Yes, you do. You hate people. That's why you want to go and relive the Turner Diaries. Do you just when you were do you stumble across the Turner Diaries and started masturbating to every chapter of that novel? Because I think that you're that kind of a person. You probably had explosive orgasms reading The Day of the Rope. Anybody who does not know what the Turner Diaries is, let me tell you, just think of Marjorie Taylor Greene and how violent and her demeanor is and what a violent streak she has. I mean, the man that wrote the Turner Diaries, if he was still alive, would be proud of this Karen in Congress.
Completely against
Stay right there. MTG is in the house. MTG is on fire as usual.
Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. Literally. Well, not literally. My standards are too high. I ain't that pretty, but my standards are too high. No. I meant like in a rude way. Figuratively. Definitely not literally. But this Karen, Marjorie Taylor Greene, honestly, the fact that she makes Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin look sane by today's standards. I mean, what's next if you go from Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert? What's next? Fucking Gun Girl? Fucking what's her name? Good Lord, I cannot think of her name. The Caitlin Bennett. That's the next step. Look how demented she is. This photo here, she's actually, trying to stalk AOC. This is before she got elected to Congress. I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She went to AOC's office in D.C., yapping through the mail slot. This is a sick individual. She really is. Anyway, I wanted to discuss this because people need to know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the most dangerous people around. Now, I'm an independent. I don't believe in the Democrats nor the Republicans. But I'm going to tell you, one thing I'm worried about, if the Republicans take over Congress, they're going to put her in some special important committee, and she could be potentially a very powerful and destructive individual. I want everybody to think about this. And to those who are Republican and on the moderate leaning side, do what you can to try to put a stop to this person for the sake of democracy and freedom. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I am Willie Bragg. Keep the red flag flying high, keep that class struggle going, and remember this: we're all Julian Assange. Y'all take care.